Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on. Straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right. Everything inside. But somehow things
Another day in do we call it paradise? What are we calling this time of our lives right now? I mean, it's not quite hell.
I mean, it's not quite, but I can't. It's definitely not good.
Although I can't imagine hell being much worse. Doc Brown, Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
All right. It is the
Oddly
team.
enough, you're talking about a quote that comes from part of that movie where they're living in a very dystopian society,
Yes.
and the character that created that dystopian society is based on the person that is currently running our society.
It is the Teebs and KidPhoenix versus podcast. I am KidPhoenix. Teebs is always here when we record. Before we get into tonight's topic, Teebs, I have a question.
Let's hear it.
How is the structural integrity of your house?
It's fine. Like, what are you talking about?
For those of you that don't know, Teebs lives in Southern California, and there was a 5.2 magnitude earthquake reported in San Diego, California. When that happens, I like to check on them because, contrary to what I say and how I act on this podcast, I actually do give a shit about them sometimes.
Yeah, it was a 5.2, or as we call it in California. Did you feel that?
But what is the rule? Like, you don't roll out of bed for anything less than a 6?
I was already out of bed, but yeah, you know.
I feel like as a general rule, I lived in San Diego for 9-10 years, and I think that was the prevailing opinion. You don't roll out of bed for anything less than a 6.
Absolutely not.
It's the perfect time of year for you. It's earthquake season, and I'm looking at the calendar. It's April, so it's going to be fire season pretty soon. So full on natural disaster for you.
Hey, chill out.
Listen,
It is not fire season just yet.
that's what I said. Just yet, it's only April. It's coming.
No.
I mean, listen, you don't get hurricanes or tornadoes or tsunamis, so just take what you can get. You know,
We
take
get
those.
tsunamis. Tsunamis happen here.
I'm just saying, take the dubs wherever you can get them. All this to say, it is a great time for Teebs to stay in the house and watch some streaming.
Wow. Took a very circuitous route to get there.
Yeah, I did. Wow, somebody breaking out the Webster's dictionary again.
Why? Listen, I drink fancy wine, according to you.
Okay,
I drink fancy
okay.
coffee. I
All
use
right.
fancy words. This is
All
what we
right.
do.
Okay. Anyway, yes, it is that time of year where streaming is like ramped up. You know, with the Daredevil, it has its last episode of a 9-episode run before they take a break, before they come back with 8 more episodes, whatever the hell they're doing. The Last of Us premiered Sunday night. Did you watch Last of Us?
I cannot watch this. I cannot watch The Last of Us as I have not finished playing both games.
I respect the respect that you have for the franchise, but speaking as somebody that has never played the game at all on either PlayStation or PC, I give you full permission. It's fine.
My friend and friend of the podcast, Savannah, would literally kill me if I did that.
Literally?
Literally kill me.
She would do to you what Bella Ramsey does to clickers on a weekly basis?
Yes, I
All right.
suppose.
That's fair. So now that we've established the main subject, this is how this conversation came about, right? as usual, Teebs and I talk on the phone or text some crazy nonsense, and then Teebs comes to a pretty interesting prompt and question, and I think it was something along the lines of, "What's up with the damn streaming schedule? There's like too much out right now, and stuff coming down the pipeline within the next like 2 months. What the hell's going on?"
Why? Okay. So what were we watching in January? I don't even know. What were we watching in December? Who knows? Why?
I can answer that question, but keep going.
Okay, why was there such a drought of shows? And then, March hits and then it's boom, here comes White Lotus, here comes Last of Us, here comes another season of Black Mirror, here comes Daredevil, here comes it's just like, why am I getting deluged with this stuff at one particular point and like the rest of the year nothing?
So I can speak on that sort of. Like I have a theory about like that. And this is coming from somebody that is an East Coaster, so I have that East Coast bias. I think that the winter months, December through March/April, for example, I was watching Invincible in January and February. I was watching that. And then Reacher came out and I was jumping in on that as well. But what I will say is I agree. December, January, not a whole lot. And then like as spring springs, god damn it. That's when you get like everything. And I don't know if that necessarily makes any sense, because in the winter months, wouldn't it make way more sense to have a whole bunch of like streaming options for people that live in, winter climates that have snow, and you don't want to really go outside because it feels like the goddamn day after tomorrow for like a week and a half?
You would think, but apparently not. Apparently January and February, we're just too obsessed with, I don't know, I guess football is still on, so we're not going to run any good shows.
Yeah, that might be it. That we may have hit on something.
Yeah, but like there's so many people that like don't engage with football. I'm sure you could counter program it properly to find a way to like scratch out a decent audience for something.
It is the NFL playoffs, and like again, sorry we let the jocks in the room. We apologize, but like when it's NFL playoff time, right? And this is an honest question: does anybody really want to compete with the NFL when it comes to water cooler talk?
This will bring up me to another idea, but like let's say there was still a Lifetime network. Why isn't the Lifetime network just grinding rom-coms? Not to be overly like, yeah, they should just grind. Like January and February should just be the months that whatever we have that's a Lifetime network just grinds rom-com, like The Notebook. What's the one they always watch around New Year's?
Damned if I know. You're asking somebody that hasn't watched like a legit rom com in maybe like
Son of a
15
bitch.
years.
With all the different vignettes. Anyway, somebody on this damn pod,
We'll be corrected in the socials. We know.
yeah, just do some hardcore grinding of rom-coms and counter program that shit. Just do some hardcore, like, I feel like you could make it work.
Like the Hallmark Channel does that around Christmas time, where it's just like nothing but Christmas movies. And to their credit, like original Christmas movies. They're not rerunning stuff. Like they're pumping out so much original content around Christmas time. The Hallmark Channel. Shout out to you guys.
Well, look, that's like that's that's essentially the Spirit Halloween store, and Christmas is their Halloween. Like they don't have any other opportunity to peddle this madness.
All right, so back to getting back on the highway a little bit. Now that like the NFL is over, there's not a whole lot more to compete with. You have the NBA, you have baseball, hasn't really started yet. So maybe there is more space for like, even if you're not really into sports, but like, you know how it is sometimes, like media companies want to dominate the conversation. Like you want to own social media 24/7 for as long as you can and get people talking about you and keep people talking about you.
Then this strategy really doesn't make sense, because how's like, okay, you and I were just talking about it. The Handmaid's Tale had a new season come out.
Yeah.
No one, I didn't even know. You didn't know.
Okay. Real quick, Teebs,
Yeah.
were you aware that they were even doing another season of Handmaid's Tale?
I
I
had
thought
no idea. No idea.
100% truth. I thought that show was over like
I thought it
years
was
ago.
done. I
I
did
thought it was
not know we
done.
were back. I did not know we were back.
I remember they had the one season like after COVID or shortly after COVID, and just like I didn't hear anything about The Handmaid's Tale.
That's exactly right. That's exactly my experience as well.
And Hulu, yeah, like that's pretty much all they have. Like they don't really have anything original, and then they don't really have anything that's original by FX that they're putting on to Hulu. Maybe I'm missing some things. I think they still have that show with Lil Dicky. I can't remember if they still do have Dave.
Who the hell is Little Dicky?
A Philadelphia rapper. He has a show on FX. It was called Dave. I don't know if they're still making episodes for that. But my point being is that like Hulu specifically, I think they're just waiting. They're just holding on as long as they can until Shogun season 2 comes out.
But again, like, you gotta. But even when Shogun came out, that was even in a glut with a bunch of other shows, because I remember I missed it because there was another show coming on. And I don't know.
And that's the thing about like
What is the strategy here? Like, we're just going to throw all of our content at March and April, and like that's it? That's the only time? Like, what are they like? Seriously, nobody goes to movies in the summertime anymore. Like, what's the big thing coming this summer that they're potentially backing off for? Like, are they that scared of like?
streaming services.
Are they that scared of, yeah, streaming services? Are they that scared of like
Do you really want to, if you're streaming
Fantastic Four? Are they that scared of Fantastic Four? They got to back off of summer entirely?
they're probably scared of Fantastic Four and Superman Returns or whatever the
but
James
again,
Gunn things. I'm sure I
can
fucked up that name.
you can counter program it, bro. Like,
And that's, yeah, I agree, and that's the thing. So COVID happened, and streaming services put a whole bunch of shit like on their platforms, and they just said, okay, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to work, and we're okay with this.
mm-hmm.
Now that shift is like they're trying to portion that out a little bit better, but they're still stepping on each other's toes. I do remember something I was watching in January, February. Cobra Kai season 6. I was watching that in January, February.
Yeah, but they just like dumped it.
Yeah, they dumped it because that's one of the few things that Netflix has aside from like Squid Game or like.
Can we just talk about the individual services right now? Like, okay, okay. I just want to make this point because I heard.
Go ahead.
I heard this point online, and I thought I found it to be particularly poignant. So maybe you remember 10, 15 years ago, networks used to be synonymous with like things. Like, if I were to say to you, FX, what is FX known for?
So at the time it would have been Archer.
Right, but like edgy animated shows,
more cutting edge, right. Edgy animated shows.
Animated shows, like edgy programming, like American Horror Story and like Shameless was on, just like edgy stuff, right? If I were to say,
It was ABC was your family stuff.
if I were to say, what do you think of AMC? What is AMC all about?
Edgy drama
Not
based off
really,
of
not really edgy, but quote unquote prestige, high level
prestige, high
television,
level television. Yeah,
and like nine waking Walking Dead shows. Like that's what it's known for.
not in 2010. It was
Sure, it
Jesus.
was. There were two. That was plenty.
I'll have to check the tapes on Fear the Walking Dead. I feel like 2010 is still too early, but go ahead. But yeah, AMC Breaking Bad,
Like HBO was like the weird auteur place. You know, even
Prestige with curse words.
right, even CBS was like, okay, we're gonna have like a million procedurals and probably a bunch of shit your grandma's gonna remember from back in the day. That's back, like the Hawaii Five O remake and like
Yeah, CBS was all like sitcoms,
the CSI network.
and
Like,
then NBC was the Law and Order network.
right,
Still is actually.
right. So what? Okay, so let's try to take that to today. What is Netflix's identity? What is Hulu's identity?
So
What
I
is any of their identities?
so I
There's
don't know.
one streamer that has a very singularly defined identity, and we can get into that. But I'm
I
just going
don't
to back off so you can make your point.
I don't know what Netflix's identity is, but I have a hot take about Netflix.
Okay.
And we can debate this, but when Netflix signed the WWE to get Monday Night Raw on Netflix in starting in December and January, that was the biggest get for a streaming service in the last 5 years, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you
Okay.
why.
Okay. 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 Okay.
The wrestling fan culture is something that's been ingrained in a lot of people for generations. You and I both watch wrestling. A lot of our friends did. The man cub is slightly into wrestling a little bit right now. Like wrestling is still relevant. Like you're seeing like wrestlers on, morning talk shows and like first take and stuff like that. Like wrestling is in the zeitgeist right now. So Netflix getting Raw on their platform, it was an easy way and it made sense that Netflix would do that because on Monday and Tuesday into Tuesday afternoon, there's a large section of the population talking about what happened on Raw on Netflix the night before. You know what I mean? Netflix owns Monday night into Tuesday afternoon. Like that's theirs. Because a lot of people, what they're talking about is what happened on Monday Night Raw the night before.
Is it enough? I mean, listen, I think Netflix identified that there was a gap in their demos and they just needed to get something that was going to fill that gap. They didn't have anything for youngish men, really.
Not really, no.
And they just needed to plug that hole in their demo. Like that's it. In their
But
demo.
plugging that demo is pretty vocal. So again, they're going to be on social media and they're going to be talking about Netflix. And I'm not saying this is going to lead to like other things, Netflix making more original content, but Netflix is being talked about again in a way that they haven't in a long time.
I mean, that's possible, but I think how many times can Netflix do that?
Yeah.
How many times is a streamer going to be able to do that? How many times are you going to be able to capture uh the buzz by just buying something? Like there's not that much stuff to buy with that kind of cachet. Eventually you're going to have to create new stuff, and I'm sorry, Netflix, you just have not been great at creating new stuff. You're great at finding new stuff and putting it on your platform. You're great at finding like 8, 9, or 10 Korean series and an English
Yeah.
series and all these other series and putting them on your platform. But like, what are you okay? what are Netflix's 100% unquestionable, undeniable breakout hits? That's got to be Stranger Things, and that's
Uh-huh.
got to be Wednesday.
Yeah.
Where are those seasons? Where are they? They're just not around. Like you just
Stranger Things suffered from COVID more than any other show just because of the production necessary and the fact that all of the actors got old.
okay, but Wednesday, like you
Yeah.
had everybody locked. Like, what's the?
They
Did
pulled
you
the
not?
plug they pulled the plug on Sabrina a little bit earlier than a lot of people wanted them to.
Maybe, but I think Sabrina had run its course, and I think the two
Okay.
or three seasons we got were fine.
Okay.
I think the beef here is you got people clamoring for this stuff. Like season Stranger Things season 5 is going to come out later this year, supposedly. I don't know anybody that's hyped for it. Now, if that season comes out 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, that's taking the internet by storm. That's going to grab the headlines. That's going to be all anybody's talking about. And also Netflix's streaming model, where their binge model just doesn't give them the opportunity to catch
Right.
a lot of tape. Like what happened with White Lotus, because it was happening weekly, it got a chance to get talked about on blogs and on podcasts and get written about, and it got to feel like the ending was a kind of an event, even if you don't stand for that show, even if you like it, and I get it if you don't, but like it felt um like an event like back in the day, like we used to have on TV, you know.
Right. Now, can we kind of go back to a point you were saying about like buying content and as opposed to original stuff? Where does Disney fit into that? Cuz Disney on top of what's in their umbrella with Disney and Pixar, they went out, they spent billions of dollars on Star Wars. They spent billions of dollars on Marvel. So technically, they're not really making anything new. They're kind of doing the same thing that Netflix is doing now with like buying their Korean shows and
This is Disney's problem. I'm
okay,
sorry. The only allegory that I can use is being a jock.
it's fine. Metaphor, not allegory. Metaphor.
The Disney Plus is like the Los Angeles Dodgers of streaming.
Accurate.
Like they're just they're just spending boatloads of cash on big names, but they're not really developing homegrown talent. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
their farm system is pretty empty right now.
There's nobody coming up from the minors.
Like they've been in win now mode for so long that they're just going to crash. They're out of money. They're going to run out of money. Like
Perfect. I have the perfect statement for Disney.
go ahead.
Disney top heavy.
They're okay. Every show Disney makes costs like a million bajillion dollars. Like, bro,
There's
just
no there's no reason, and like the last series they did, there's no reason Echo should have cost like 75 something $1 million, I think it was.
like make a good little show. Disney Plus. Like, can you do that? I don't think that they can. They're all about giant swings and big franchise energy, and like we're the Star Wars place and we're the Marvel place, but like you're going broke making those.
Yeah,
You
where's
can't keep making those.
nothing like animated, nothing like no Pixar, nothing original
I
from
mean,
Pixar till they're doing Toy Story 7 or whatever the
even
fuck
when
they're
they
doing.
do animated stuff like that, costs million bajillion dollars.
Right.
And like, so yeah, they just need to they just need to learn how to make. And I think this is their problem. They just never had to learn how to do things on a budget. They just need to
Right.
learn how to do things on a budget.
I will. So there's one streaming service that hardly nobody knows about slash talks about just because it's one of the smaller ones. But I will say, and you may agree with me that like Apple TV is putting out some really good shit.
Apple TV has an identity. Apple TV
Right.
I know where, if I go to Apple TV, I'm going to see something quirky or something sci-fi mind-bending type stuff. They got Silo, they got Severance, they got Invasion Earth, or whatever that show is called. I forget what it's called, but the Invasion show. They also got Ted Lasso. They've got this thing, The Studio. Like, I know what Apple TV is about. They have an identity, and I appreciate that. And like, they've worked hard to try to be like, we're the place for like kind of smart, sophisticated stuff. I get it.
Right,
I
right, right
appreciate
in
it.
your wheelhouse.
Right in my wheelhouse. Right in my wheelhouse.
uh, you're a big horror guy, and you know, is Shudder still a thing? Do they still do like original stuff?
Shudder does still do stuff. I have not. I have a Shudder account, but it's part of my AMC Plus, and I don't know how to get into. I can't get into the Shudder app. I can only access Shudder through AMC, and that kind of sucks.
I think this is something that you're hitting on. I think you have ingredients in the oven or on the counter, and you're like ready to put them in the oven. And it's this concept of like streamer identity, and we can tie it back to like network TV of the old days. Like if
Right.
if you tuned to Fox, you knew what you were getting. If you
Right.
tuned to AM,
NBC in the 80s and then in the 90s had a certain feel to it.
it was NBC was the sitcom place. CBS was also they were the newsy place. ABC was the family place. And then, you know, WB, CW, that was the black place. But whatever. Even the WB had an identity. Like, listen, I can turn on the WB. I know I'm getting the Wayans brothers, and that's fine.
It's the way, yeah, okay, fine. Like, you make fun, but like,
Yeah.
if you're looking for that kind of stuff, that is, you knew where to get it, basically. You knew where to get it, bro.
And like, so Disney, we kind of know what their identity is, right? Like big budget, big name franchises. Apple, we know what their identity is. I think we're hitting on something where it's just like the streaming services that don't get talked about too much, they lack an identity. Like, we don't know what the hell their like core model is or what their idea is for like their service. Like
Also,
Netflix, what
yeah.
do you do now? Hulu, who are you now? Is Hulu just now? Is Hulu basically just like an ABC affiliate? That's what it feels like.
So Hulu, yeah, it's like where all the ABC, it's where Abbott Elementary and all the FX stuff is. And
American Idol. Wait,
is that still on?
no,
That's still on the air?
American Idol is on Peacock. I'm sorry, I apologize. And then Hulu is also where you're gonna get like all of like literally any Gordon Ramsay show. Like you'll find that on Hulu, no problem. Yeah, talk to Baby Sis about Gordon Ramsay on Hulu. Like she watches them all. Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmare. She's all in.
I appreciate Gordon Ramsay. But the thing is, Gordon Ramsay ain't your whole network. This is not ESPN. Gordon Ramsay is not Stuart Scott. No, not Stuart Scott. Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith.
You can't build your whole network around one dude despite of what ESPN thinks.
And I think we've hit on what Hulu's identity is now. It's like ABC, FX on demand. I think that's all Hulu is now. Because like we were saying before when we started talking about Hulu, their original stuff, Handmaid's Tale, didn't realize that it was a fucking thing. Netflix, after I want to say that last season of Orange is the New Black, they had Stranger Things and that was it. And now that Stranger Things is kind of out of the conversation, we'll see what the hype is like around con time, because they may or may not have a panel at con. We'll see if Netflix shows up. They haven't
Honestly,
been.
I don't think any of the streamers are showing up. I wouldn't expect to see any kind of Warner Brothers or DC presence. I wouldn't expect to see Hulu. I wouldn't. I mean, aside from the stuff Hulu always brings, and like I think FX will be there because FX has a relationship. I'm just spitballing here, and just expanding from what we talked about. I think FX will be there because FX has a relationship with Comic Con. I think
Amazon Prime.
if they have something, I don't know what they have. Their Reacher is not there anymore.
And then the next
They
season
don't
of
have Lord of the Rings. I mean, unless
Invincible, no, that's not at least for another year.
The Boys, maybe,
The
but
Boys, maybe. But okay, so let's talk about Amazon's identity now then. Like, Amazon, is their identity just like this is the home for The Boys and every Boys spinoff? Plus all the free movies you can, plus all the free B movies you can get your hands on.
what do you mean the free B movie?
Listen, there's only one streaming service I know of where I can watch Invasion USA, and that is fucking Amazon Prime.
It's on Tubi, which may be Tubi and Pluto may be the best streaming services we got right now.
Shout out Pluto TV. Seriously, I swear to God. Listen,
I know what Pluto TV is. It has all the old shit that I want to watch that I can't watch anyplace else. And Tubi has all the dumb shit that I want to watch that I can't watch anywhere else. So
listen,
I get it. I get it, you guys.
listen. John Pluto and Bill Tubi, get at us. We will happily we'll happily put your logos on our podcast. You can sponsor our podcast. I swear to God.
Bill Tubi.
I don't know what his name is. I just said it's just William Tubi. It just sounded right.
First of all, I can't even handle the. Let me ask you this: Why was your first instinct to go John and Bill? Why isn't it Malik Tubi and and like Chandra Pluto? Like, why you got to be so Eurocentric with the naming?
I apologize in advance for the question I'm about to ask, but Teebs,
Yeah.
name one African American male or female that owns a media company.
Malik Tubi. I thought we were just talking about this guy.
There's only one person that owns a media company. There's only one African American that owns a media company, if you even want to call it that, and that's Tyler Perry.
Listen, I don't know who. Actually, I do know who owns Tubi and Pluto, but you don't. And the fact that you just assumed it was a white guy is a little disturbing. Well, just a second. With the number of exploitation movies on Tubi, I'm not 100% sure. I think there might be a lot of black stockholders.
I'm begging you, please release me from this tangent.
All right, okay, fine.
So let's hit the schedule a little bit more and kind of bring it around full circle, right? Right now we're in Daredevil, White Lotus, fucking
White Lotus just ended, so we're in Last of Us.
Last of Us, fucking Severance. Are we in Severance territory?
Severance is over too.
Righteous Gemstones.
Gemstones is still on.
Which neither of us have seen, and I've heard.
Are you kidding me? I love Gemstones. I'm up to date.
I haven't watched the new season yet, and I feel like I'm having serious FOMO because I hear the season's fucking incredible.
It's good. It's okay. There's a lot happening. It's still going, so I don't care to rate it just yet. But
at the end of the month, just when you think it's over, then we're getting punched in the face with like Andor season 2.
Andor season 2 will be back. Yes,
and we may or may not have to go to the movies. I don't know if you will. We'll see. It might be a budget thing for you, but Thunderbolts.
I haven't made up my mind yet.
He hasn't made up his mind yet.
I got to see what the reviews are
Oh,
because
don't be that guy.
I am very wary of what could be happening with that movie.
But to the point, what's coming out in the summer?
I think we just said um, Fantastic Four.
No. Streaming shows, original streaming shows, like nothing, right?
I'm not sure yet. They usually do back off the summer, just out of tradition and also out of like,
So they'll back off for motion pictures, but they won't try to challenge the NFL. Interesting.
well, the NFL's
Well, well,
movies are not playing on the same playing field, so to speak, as the NFL. Like NFL is on TV.
and also it's Hollywood versus Hollywood. It's just like they would be eating their own faces at that point.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Like if it's like Warner Brothers, just like, all right, HBO, back off a little bit because we got Superman coming. Just hold off on House of the Dead season 3 until like September or something, will you?
But you bring up an interesting point. Like, are they backing? Like, is everything coming out in April just because Warner doesn't want to compete with itself when Superman comes out? So they're doing all. I mean, White Lotus was going to come out this time anyway, but Last of Us could have come out anytime. It could have come out in
Yeah.
the fall. And I understand people were waiting a long time, but they would have waited a little bit longer. Maybe they just put everything out now so they didn't have to compete with themselves in the summertime, which okay, that's fine, but then why are the channels that don't have movie arms not just pounding the hell out of something?
Yeah, I don't know what Netflix is doing in the summer where it's just like they like Squid Game season 3, I don't think it's coming out until September, October.
Yeah.
Like why would you wait that long? Like if Squid Game season 3 came out in like June, July, like you could own the streaming conversation for the summertime. Like that would be yours.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what they did with Stranger Things. Like Stranger Things would come out, I want to say like June, July, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like they would own the Stranger Things would own the summer. Like people would rewatch that shit over and over again, just like all summer long.
Right. Right.
And
Absolutely right.
maybe that's just a product of the time that it was, like COVID. Like people wanted to watch stuff. Like companies were just like, all right, what do you got? Okay, it's only like 80% finished. Fuck it, throw it out anyway.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna. I don't know what becomes of that. I don't know what the next step is. At what point do you think like streaming services start buying themselves, like a Netflix Hulu combination, kind of, where and they form like a big ass studio.
Well, Disney and Hulu are already a studio.
Oh, I'm sorry, not I'm sorry. Yeah, like okay, bad example because Hulu is part of the Disney umbrella. But what about like if Amazon bought Netflix?
Amazon couldn't afford Netflix at this point, but
But you know what I mean. Like
I know what you mean.
sooner or later, there's going to be like consolidation of some of these places, like Paramount, like Paramount Plus. Like we know what Paramount Plus is. It is the Star Trek network. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going there for
Star
MTV.
Trek and Yellow Jackets, yes.
Star Trek and Yellow Jackets.
And Survivor, but you don't care about that.
I don't care about Survivor. I care about the other thing that is on the Paramount network, which is the fifth major sport. Which is the challenge for those of you that don't know what I'm referring to. I think that's going to be the next thing, like consolidation of some of these other smaller offshoots. You know, like maybe not Netflix buy something, but Showtime assumes Netflix somehow, and it's just like Showtime plus Paramount plus Netflix. And it's just one big ass Showtime umbrella. And they have like all that stuff. Because now the conversation is, I think now the conversation is, How do we compete with Disney? How do we compete with Warner?
Yeah, and that's something that I really don't get. Why, what with the Showtime Paramount Plus thing? Like, just be one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. You so I can have Paramount plus Showtime, but if I have Showtime, does that mean I automatically have Paramount Plus? I don't effing know. Like, what's the deal here?
It's
Like,
also really confusing. It is
I
very
got this.
confusing.
I'm on this plan where I'm on the Disney Plus, Hulu, Warner bundle.
Oh my god, I have that too.
I gotta watch all my Warner content on Hulu. I don't appreciate it. I actually like the Max interface.
Wait, you can't use the Max app interface?
I can't. Maybe you could show me after the pod what I'm doing wrong, but
I'll hook you up when I come out in July.
yeah.
We'll work it out. Because I just random aside, real quick, before we jump back. Like, I remember we were watching on the Mac. We were watching House of the Dragon on the Max app when I was out there
Yeah, I
last summer.
canceled Max and I got this plan
Oh my god!
late last year.
Because they want to confuse everybody.
Right.
We're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to the point where it's just like, you know what? Nobody gives a shit about paying for anything. Like, we're just all gonna be pirates.
I don't have that kind of patience. When I need to watch something, I need to watch something.
I'm not saying. Listen, the Teebs and KidPhoenix podcast versus podcast. We do not advocate for piracy or anything like that. But
We don't.
no, we don't. There are individuals that are just getting tired of that shit, and they're just like, you know what? I'm done paying like $100 a month for these services, and I don't even use like half of them. I'm just gonna pirate everything and just fuck it. We all know somebody in our lives that's like that. Don't say you don't, because I know you do. There's at least one person that's on the NSA FCC watch list.
That person may or may not be on this podcast right now.
It's not. Stop it. Stop it, you asshole. All right. I feel like we need to stop right there. We need to cut it. We're cutting that part out of the podcast. I think it's gonna be one of those two things. It's just like there's gonna be a piracy boom similar to what we saw with the music industry in the early mid 90s, and or there's gonna be like a consolidation of some of these like streaming services that don't have the power or the money that Disney and Warner had.
It's a possibility. I think more than likely the small streamers will just start selling their back catalogs to the big streamers, kind of like how Sex and the City is on Netflix and things like
that. Right. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Well, like, see, Netflix is a bad example because I don't really have anything to sell because Stranger Things is done. Cobra Kai is done.
Right. So Netflix, Amazon, and Disney would probably be buyers,
right?
not so much sellers.
Like you probably find like Reacher on like HBO or something.
Paramount Plus, like Paramount, AMC. These guys would probably be sellers.
Wait, I thought that's funny because I thought AMC. I thought AMC, Paramount, and Showtime were all under the same umbrella. Like you could get AMC stuff on Showtime. I thought that was the thing. No, because AMC started a streaming service for whatever fucking reason.
There's AMC Plus, and then there's AMC Plus Showtime. Go fuck yourself.
Wait, is that really what the app says?
I know.
AMC Showtime, go fuck yourself. No, that's not a thing.
Plus Showtime, go fuck yourself.
You said strong feelings about AMC.
I do not like it.
Listen, AMC brought you such great shows as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's not all Walking Dead. It's not all miserable times for you on AMC.
It's not miserable. Like, I like AMC programming. That's why I signed up. I want to watch Interview with a Vampire. I want to watch that witch show with Alessandra Daddario. What I don't understand is why I have to pay for 3. Like, I understand why. It's just a stupid model that frustrates people. Just let me buy things. Just let me watch the things I want to watch.
We'll watch what we're gonna watch, and people will listen to what they listen to, and that includes this podcast. Hopefully, you can listen to us wherever you download, listen to your podcast. We are on all of the major podcasting services and even some of the smaller ones too. We're on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, full episodes, video on YouTube. We're still doing streaming Saturdays. Did you finish the thing? I can't remember.
I think I still have a little bit left.
So Teebs has a little bit of the thing left. I completed Turtles in Time in one sitting. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Took about an hour and 10 minutes. And I did the thing where I used the save game function. I'm sorry, maybe it's cheating. I don't care. I wanted to get it done in one sitting. But we have some things coming up at the end of the month. We're recording with a couple friends of the podcast for both Alien 426 Day. It's going to be fun shit, as it always is. And then we have something in the pipeline for May the 4th. We will be doing a special streaming on 426 because 426 is a Saturday, so fuck it, we got to do it, right?
Yes, we will be doing something. I'm not sure exactly.
I think Teebs talked about maybe AISO again. I can't remember.
I haven't decided yet. I might try to do a full beginning to end run of AISO in one sitting.
Jesus.
I may also just try to do the Crew Expendable DLC, which is
that's a good
supposed
one.
to be the Nostromo Crew DLC.
I myself am contemplating just playing copious hours of Fireteam Elite and just saying fuck it. Like I'm just gonna be out there with my pulse rifle all day. If you have the game on Steam, like, you know, feel free to join my fire team and be on stream if you want to. Like, I'll have you sign a waiver, an NDA, whatever you need. But yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for us. That's the podcast this week. We are gonna get out of here, and we'll talk to everybody soon. We'll talk to you.